Hello again, and welcome to another short lecture from Professor Harper concerning crime and the court system. The idea here really is, as I've said before, is to give you places to go quickly rather than to just do Google searches. So if we take a look here, covering crime and justice, a guide for journalists, is really a very useful tool and a useful site for basic information about covering crime and justice. So, for example, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so that you can see this a little bit better. Maybe one more. There we go. So, if you go to the various topics, you have access to records, arrest process, controlled substances, defining crime, a variety of things. And one of the things that is most important is to know what crimes you're talking about. Most criminal activities are covered by state law, and so most of the activity is in state courts, although there are obviously some crimes of a federal nature, such as threatening to kill the president or attacking a U.S. postal worker. But let's look at some of these definitions. In terms of, there are two distinct types. Civil cases, an individual, business, or agency of government seeks damages or relief from another individual, business, or an agency. In terms of criminal cases, they are actions brought on by the government on behalf of citizens against individuals alleged to have harmed the state or society at large by violating criminal statutes. One of the things that is important, and this is something that you'll find that police officers oftentimes don't really have much respect for the press because many of us get basic things wrong. So, for example, if you just look at some basic definitions, larceny encompasses any wrongful taking of property. Okay, theft is larceny without a threat of violence, such as a pickpocket. Many forms of white-collar financial crimes are variations of theft. Fraud is a form of theft, sometimes defined by theft as by deception. Auto theft is self-explanatory, but here's where you get into the problem. Robbery is a larceny committed by violence or threats, including a finger under the jacket to indicate a gun. You can have armed robbery. You can have various types of armed robbery. That's different from burglary. Burglary is the unlawful entering of a premises to take something, and there's no threat of violence. So it's more or less like a home invasion. So this is a really good guide to obtain information very quickly and to really learn about the beat and to learn about the various definitions of crime. Cornell University keeps a very, very useful site about various topics concerning the law. So you can, again, I'll make it a little bit larger so we can all see it. It allows you to go through federal law, constitutional law, the U.S. Code, state law resources, the Supreme Court, and it's just a really good one-stop shopping when it comes to various things with respect to the law from Cornell University. The Bureau of Justice Statistics and the FBI provides all kinds of useful data about crime in the United States. You will find that crime is actually down. The reason it's down is that there are fewer people between the ages of 18 and 29 than there were a few years ago, and so therefore you will, most young people, the largest percentage of crime is committed by young people, and so therefore crime is actually down. but it provides things like the Uniform Crime Reports, which is a data tool to take a look at what crime trends are. This one is used in conjunction with the FBI crime statistics, which is done on an annual basis. I believe we're about 2 years behind now, but this provides, it's fairly well up to date, so that there's actually preliminary data on 2011, but you can see the various trends that are going on with respect to major crimes. And it's a very useful tool, particularly in terms of comparing various metropolitan sites and overall trends. The Philadelphia crime statistics are actually much better than what they used to be. The police department has redone its website, and this has proved very useful in terms of looking through the crime. So the crime maps and statistics are here, and as you can see, homicides are up, but they're up slightly, and they're still below those for 2007. They're up from these years, but we tend to read in the newspapers about all the homicides that have occurred, and while 108 deaths is not good, it actually does provide an accurate barometer of what's going on. This also provides you with information about the various districts and where they are, what they cover, so that this map will actually show you where the various districts fall, and you can enter an address and find out what's going on there. Plus, it also provides contact numbers for all of the various districts. Most reporters don't like to go through the court records, and so therefore you can sign up for 8 cents a page through something called Pacer. That's for, it's not something that you need to do for this class, but you can get electronic downloads, which for the federal courts, which makes it a lot easier. One thing about civil and criminal case documents, although they're public information, there's no mandate which requires them to provide a search engine. So sometimes you're going to just have to go down to the local courts to go through the records at the clerk of the courts in order to find them. I mean, there is a Philly court site which you can go to. Sometimes it's useful, sometimes it's not. It gives you the various, it does give you the ability to search. You may or may not know this, but the Court of Common Pleas is the first level of the court system with respect to criminal cases. And municipal court is slightly different. That's city court. And you can find various locations for the courts, what the court docket is. This is a somewhat useful site. It's not one that I would depend on. Usually a call to the clerk of the court is the only way to go. Here's just a fun site. It's called The Vault at the FBI. It has all kinds of information and about old cases, so you can look at, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit here because I want you to be able to see this. It has anti-war from the 1960s and 70s, civil rights movement, counterterrorism. It also has, stuff on the gangster of the 1930s, and it has things on organized crime, public corruption, and also on popular culture. And it's just kind of, it's a fun read. One final thing is that most reporters don't know very much about guns. So if you need to see what a gun looks like, and you don't know what it is, let's go, for example, to Smith & Wesson. Smith & Wesson makes a variety, 44 Magnum, that's what it looks like. If you want to look at a 38, this is what a 38 looks like. You know, a very useful thing to figure out what a gun looks like when you're reading through documentation. So that's all I have for crime in courts. Have fun searching, and we'll be back on the web. Thanks very much.